My name is Orla Sweeney, and in this video I will be discussing my hopes and expectations for my first teaching block as part of my advanced school placement, my final year 10-week advanced school placement in Donabate Portrane Educate Together National School. My first 3-week block I will be teaching second class, and there are a few areas that I aim to focus on more specifically over this teaching block. One being the area of differentiation. On my observation days in the school, when I met with the class teacher and I met the class, she made me aware that there are a lot of kind of learning difficulties and disabilities within the class, and that the ability is quite varied amongst the children in the classroom. So I took from that this will be, a challenge for me in terms of differentiation and being able to cater for children of all different difficulties and all needs. So I think that'll be that'll be an area I aim to focus on. I've never really experienced such a range of abilities in a classroom before. Generally, the children in classes I taught before have been in and around similar abilities, so this is really something that I aim to focus on this year. Also, I know that this final year, because we're in fourth year, a major area of focus for our teaching placements this year will be on assessment. And we were made aware of this in our lectures and also by my tutor in a meeting I had this week. And she was just highlighting the fact that in terms of her assessing us, she'll be focusing on our abilities to assess. So for that, I hope to use and experiment with a range of different assessment types, be that observation and taking observation notes, using checklists, encouraging the children to peer assess and to self-assess, and also through some tasks and maybe small tests over the few weeks. But what I hope to do is not only just use these different types of assessment, but then take the assessments and my observations about the various children and use that for my differentiating or for my planning, my future planning in the weeks to come. So my first week I aim to really focus on assessment, and then I'll be able to use those assessments and those observations to work on how I teach the children, what approaches I might use in particular for particular children, and also how I will differentiate between the different children and maybe the different abilities. Another area in which I aim to focus on in my first teaching block is with integration. So integration I found really easy or really beneficial in previous placements. I've usually taken one theme and then tried to integrate as many subject areas and all, if possible, into that theme. And that way I felt that the children really took the most from what they were learning in those subject areas, and really engaged well in the different subject areas, because it was all based around one theme and they kind of learned the most and got the most from what they were learning about. Now this year, after visiting my teacher on my observation days and discussing with her, she kind of has a list of specific topics she wants me to cover in the different subject areas. So that way I found it a little bit more difficult to just choose one theme. However, I've still decided to try and focus on integration, as I still feel that it is a really beneficial approach to teaching. So areas I wish to integrate, or themes I wish to integrate subject areas into, would be one, positive mental health. As I'm teaching in an Educate Together school, calendar events such as Positive Mental Health Awareness Month, which is the month of January, tend to be whole school events and celebrated across all classrooms and the whole school in general. So therefore I've been encouraged and inspired to base some of my subject areas, or at least where possible, into and integrate them into the theme of positive mental health and promoting such. So areas I do intend to integrate into this theme will be the likes of art, visual arts, English, SPHE, which would be very easy, Learn Together, which would also be very easy to integrate into, and really focus on, for especially the first week of, or the first and second week of my placement, really focus on the theme of positive mental health. Towards the end of January, the school will also be celebrating Chinese New Year. So that's another theme which I hope to integrate my my teaching and some of the content in my subject areas into. It falls on the Friday of the second week of my placement. So for the second and third week, mostly I will aim to cover topics in various subject areas that integrate into that theme, so that the children gain an overall a decent overall understanding of that theme and an awareness for the different culture, the different celebrations, and an appreciation for same. Areas I hope to integrate into this theme are the areas of history, geography, visual arts, music, drama, English, and probably a few subject areas where possible. And then that will be another way which I will be able to use and focus on integration for my first teaching block.